one takes us. We are officially up and underway here in the nation's capital. First possession goes to the home team. The Mystics, 4-5 on the season. They're led by these two ladies, Sonia Citron and Kiki Iriafen. Austin, line drive to the cup for two.
And that's a great straight line drive, but what a screen by Manuete. And that's a big part of what Washington wants to do with their spacing, is set those screens to free up the driving lanes.
We talked about their ability to do work in the paint, yes, on the post entry, but on the drive as well. First possession for the Fever. Caitlin loves to shoot left. Second chance opportunity here. Aliyah Boston, no good. Hauled down by Austin. The Fever describing the Mystics as more methodical when it comes to their offensive approach.
And that's a big part of the patience they want to play that with. You'll continue to monitor and see that through the course of this one. And I think a big part of that for Sydney Johnson is just understanding where they want to get the ball to. And for as much as we talk about the post play, their posts also, though, can handle. We run a lot of dribble handoffs to see them passing and running offense, especially through players like Iriafen and Austin.
The youngest team in the WNBA, average age 23 and a half. Georgia Amore, met by multiple bodies, and the Fever defense, it's a focus for them. That's good pressure early.
It has been, and really in New York, they had an excellent first three quarters of that. The aggressiveness, the blitz, the attack, I think that's part of what Stephanie White wants to see out of her players. And that tempo comes from possessions and plays like that. Kelsey Mitchell, we know how tenacious she can be defensively.
We have another jump ball instead of the forwards. It'll be the guards here. What gives?
Did you ever do jump balls?
Never. You wouldn't want me to do jump balls, Sarah.
I wouldn't want to. That's like a...
Spot up from the corner like you.
Let him just sit outside and shoot.
Let it fly, Kelsey Mitchell. The Fever yet to score on their first couple possessions. And they want to move the basketball a little bit more. And we use the word pace, and you think up and down in transition, but you can have pace in the half court as well.
That's such an important point. And that comes from the passing, decision-making, cutting, all of those types of actions.
Here goes Iriafen to Austin. Everybody getting a touch. Citron looking for something. Shot clock winding down. Do they recognize? Iriafen to the deck.
It's just a strong play by Billings to make sure to put a body, stay in front, be physical. You need to do that against the strength of an Iriafen.
Boston trying to get the Fever on the board, and does.
We're going to talk about strength on strength. Kiki Iriafen and Aliyah Boston, teammates during the unrivaled season. So great familiarity with one another and practicing against each other.
Well, Kiki much prefers playing with Aliyah Boston. Great entry pass over the top. And a foul on the catch.
And pick and roll plays, we know, is such a pivotal part of what Indiana wants to do. And with a player like Aliyah Boston, her ability to find those gaps on the floor, she just bodies through Iriafen. You cannot underestimate how strong Boston is. And her ability to have counter moves no matter where and how you're playing her in the paint.
That last foul was the first on Kelsey Mitchell. Austin asking for the basketball. All knotted up at two. Onyenwere. Strong positioning down low.
So again, second straight possession, you're seeing Austin have the ball in a decision-making position here towards the top of the key. This time it's Onyenwere making that cut across, reflex cut, open basketball. They're going to continue pouring it inside in the post, and that's where I think for this Washington team leading the league in points in the paint, they get it in so many different ways. It's through penetration and drives, it's through post-up, face-ups. But because they have playmakers in their bigs, it changes the dynamic of how spread out they can play.
2 for 2 for Onyenwere. You talked about points in the paint, Sarah. 43.8 per game for the Mystics. Leads the league. Here comes Clark off the Boston screen. You can sense some patience from Indiana. Mitchell elevates just in and out.
And those not drop, that's a great look. And shifting Washington side to side will continue to be important.
Amore looking to find her stride. Remember, she's a rookie out of Kentucky. battling down low. Both teams stay with it. They've got numbers. Caitlin rattles it home.
That was a great decision on the Hezzy. It almost looked, you saw her at the three-point line, wondering if she was going to pull from transition. But with Onyenwere on her hip, continues to go and finish.
Amor now goes inside. All right, this is what Indiana wants to do. Get out in transition. See what they've got. Clark from deep. She wanted that.
Caitlin Clark has not shot with the efficiency you imagine she would anticipate so far this season from three. So let's start going through early, and it becomes really tough. It's the last time up the floor she drove. So this time Onyenwere a little bit back on her heels, step back, bottoms. And for Caitlin Clark to see things go through early and have a balance, it's going to be important for Indiana that's trying to get their mojo back on both ends of the floor.
Caitlin 2 for 3 from the field so far in this one. Came into tonight shooting 28% from the field in her last 4 games, but she's a rhythm player. She gets it going to the cup. Next one, you talked about the fact, hits it from the outside. Feels good when you see it go through the bag.
And that's a big part of it. And of course, she understands how to do that, but just keeping a defense on their toes.
And now she feels in control offensively, draws that foul. Let's take a look at our DraftKings player tracker. DraftKings is the #1 sports book for live betting. To get in on the action, download the app and use promo code GLASS when you sign up. That's Onyenwere's first. Saw her with the body there, guarding Clark.
It's a part of it. This time I'm getting a little bit tighter up on her and getting her early, but that's the balance I think we're continuing to find in the league and for all of these teams, how physical they can be and where that line is.
Down to Hines Allen, they sprayed out, that's Billings. Cody McMahon just flies in. One of the 8 rookies on this team. Oh! Elevation by Billings. Illegal contact is called.
Cody McMahon, injured to start the season, and she's been getting more time. She is such a force when she's in transition and has the ability to straight line drive and get downhill. She loves getting to her right. That's a circumstance, too, which is great for Washington. You see this with a lot of their ability to rip and run no matter who it is and be opportunistic on the break. For as much as we talk about their slower pace by the numbers or how they want to be more patient and methodical, they will take their shots and getting in transition if they have those lanes and opportunities.
4 team fouls already for the Fever, 2 for the Mystics. Both these teams bottom of the league when it comes to personal fouls each game. So we may be to the free throw line back and forth. Just get your stories ready, sir.
Yeah, we heard Sue talking about that in the pregame. I was like, I didn't even want to address that in Jinx Us here.
Nice cut there by Cunningham. Dantas keeps it in. That's the 3.
A big-time shot for Dantas, who's not necessarily had a lot of time or had a lot of looks, but her ability at the space can be important.
First time we've seen her on the floor in a couple of games. All right, DC, 5-point deficit. How do they respond? Clark brings it down. She's looking. What does she see? Dantas, patient. This is Aliyah Boston. Just signed to a standard contract a few days ago, loses it on the handle.
Indiana Fever is starting to flow, and you see everyone's getting in on this. Little back screen here by Caitlin Clark. McMahon's calling it out. They make the switch. Sophie Cunningham drawn in the defense and finding an open 3-point shooter. Again, the ability to get it to the second side, rotate the defense. That opens up a lot for how the Fever want to create their looks.
Here comes Cunningham. 10-5, we remain there. Iriafen, nice poise.
Rim run. And what a dime by McMahon.
You talk about this being a young team, but you see glimpses of chemistry. Kelsey Mitchell to the cup.
That really seem to play mature beyond their years. They have a great level of poise and they love learning from one another. You mentioned chemistry. Like, you can see it off the floor, on the floor. And Ashley, it's been just fun to experience what they've been here so far this season.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And talking to Coach Johnson at shoot-around, I said, how do you approach just such a young group, but also making sure that they play the right way and develop those habits? And he said, first off, he's just so elated with the effort from the group, because maybe the performance is not exactly where he wanted it to be, but they are so committed to the process, and they talk about togetherness and toughness and just dealing with the reality of how monster this league is, and that you need reps to get to the level that they want to get to. But he could not stop just talking about the chemistry of this group. And guys, I think we saw it just this morning.
So much positivity from Coach Johnson about his group. And one line that I love that he had recently was, we may get beat sometimes, but we never get bullied. Talk about toughness, togetherness.
And I think that speaks to even, you know, in us talking with Sonia, saying we're going to make mistakes, youthful mistakes, mistakes of inexperience. One thing that is a non-negotiable is our effort and just how hard we're going to play. And those are the type of things that I think has been consistent.
Clark from deep. And you've seen that effort so far in this first frame. 5-point basketball game. A little over midway through the first. Clark takes it away. Foot race. She wins.
Those are the difference makers in the fine line for Washington. Cheryl mentioned it. We've heard Cindy Johnson talk about all the live ball turnovers have and can be a killer for this group. It's something that they've got to find ways to clean up.
Betts asking for the basketball. Spin cycle. That's nice.
We got her in single coverage in that position, that deep. Her ability to counter and use her footwork is special.
Here come the Fever. Cut by Clark. And the contact from Flora. Lauren Betts, the most outstanding player in the Final Four a couple months ago.
Just look at that, though, the finesse and the footwork, how light she is on her feet, and where she faces you up. She surveys where a defender is playing her, and at that size, to be able to get to the spot on the floor and shoot over, it's just such a tough matchup.
Big Ten Player of the Year, Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, a number of accolades coming out of UCLA. Some good minutes for Lauren Betts. Clark in control, the dime down low to Billings, knocked away by Dugalich. Austin. You notice Washington settles, looking for something good. Flores down to Austin, the connection.
Big time ball movement that started with the pick and roll play at the top of the key. Everything from there rotated and shifted the defense.
3-point game, 2:30 to go here in the first. Cunningham, oh, the steal by Boston, that's tough.
You said, I mean, watch how deep a position Aliyah Boston works to get. She does her work before the catch. She's got that left foot planted underneath the basket, and it allows her the angle, the spacing, not only to embrace the contact to get the finish, but keep someone like Austin off of her.
That's a possession, right, in practice. If you can see my number that big, you better give me the basketball.
And that's where, you know, Aliyah Boston just keeps getting better and better each and every season. And we've now seen her expand her game to the three-point line. How much does that open up for the pick and roll play?
Onyenwere holds the follow through. 2-point game. Clark under the rim. Collected by Dugalich. You can sense momentum from the Mystics. McMahon, she's had this matchup before. The eyes, where will Caitlin go? Shuffle pass, stays here.
Washington has been moving it, really doing an excellent job in how they varied where they're getting the ball from. Onyenwere knocking down a three-point shot. That's an area that if they can get threes to fall at a solid rate, it just opens up so much for her. Remember, she didn't play in the first meeting when they played at Indiana. And it's not just a pivotal piece offensively, but especially you see how much she's been matched up on Clark.
little veteran presence too.
Yeah, I mean, she's like
26 years old.
She's like
and the oldest player on this team.
She'd be one of the younger players.
Dougal Leach, the rookie, going against Boston. That's blocked. Clark navigating, step back. It's good. She hears the crowd too. Just when you feel like you're getting your bearings as the Mystics, Clark drills it from the outside.
Those become the momentum breakers.
But this is where you show your growth as a group, right? How do you respond when the opposing team seems to be getting everything right? Here come the Fever. Ball movement.
A foul on that play, but the tough part is the turnovers because it's allowed them to continue to run out. And these screens for Caitlin Clark, look at where that screen is set by Billings, gives her so much room and area to operate. She covers the entire top of the key. The step back is a banger, and you continue to see that, whether it's Billings, whether it's Boston, they will set those screens so far extended, one, because of her range, and two, it allows her extra room to operate.
That last three put Caitlin in double figures with 10 points. Press play on live Cup games with WNBA League Pass. Stream more live Commissioners Cup games and access more ways to watch than ever. Get League Pass today for $39.99 a year. We're still, of course, in the midst of Commissioners Cup play. $500,000 on the line. Talking about money. Both these teams 1-1 in Commissioners Cup play so far. Delay of game called on the floor. That'll be on Onion Nwede. Indiana basketball. Less than a minute to go here in the first. So 2 calls there, delay of game and a foul. Clark with Citron on her, trying to create some space. Oh, that's deep. Too short. And another whistle. That's the second on Caitlin Clark.
And this is where things have been and become an issue for Indiana because of the extreme amount of fouling that they put on teams through the course of this early part of the season. And not only does it affect your availability or being on the floor, thinking about foul situations and circumstance, but also the aggressiveness that you want to play with through the course of the game. Granted, there's only 2, but as a whole for the Fever, an area that they're really looking to try and shore up is that.
Here we go, one time.
Clark will now head to the bench with 2 fouls. She played with 5 fouls a lot of the fourth quarter on Saturday against New York. Onion Nwede gets both of them.
And for a player that in offense often targets on the defensive side, that makes it even tougher if you're concerned about picking up more fouls.
Kelsey Mitchell on an island. She can dictate offensively. Left is where she wants to go. Gives it up. Shot clock keeps moving. Cunningham cradles it. Shot clock violation. Solid defensive possession. 3.7 to go here in the first frame. They move it to 4.5.
Such an important possession for Washington. Everyone stayed in front, guarding their yard, doing a good job of really collapsing on the inside of the post, how you're finishing quarters, and having a quick opportunity here. There's still enough time to get it in and take a couple dribbles for a shot.
Citron, the best scorer on this team, still scoreless. Puts it up from deep. Ball. Citron on Mitchell. Here she comes. To Billings, holds the follow through.
That's a good shot made by Billings. It sees her first bucket go through, and for Kelsey Mitchell continuing to create, Washington is really keying in on her. Only 2 shots so far this game. She's going to have to be a continued important part of finding ways to get her good looks.
Citron hit on the handoff. That'll be the first on Sophie Cunningham. Sonia Citron, the leading scorer for this Mystics team, scoreless though in that first quarter.
And that's the ebbs and flows of it. We spoke with her earlier. She talked about, and we've seen this through the course of her career, letting the game come to her. But she is such a focal point. She's the one who makes this offense go in so many different ways. And so it's that balance of when she does need to continue to be more aggressive.
Yeah, she said that's one of the favorite parts of her game is how she lets it come to her, but sometimes she's got to be more aggressive. Another turnover there by the Mystics. How will the Fever try to take advantage? They swing it around. Boston asking for it, met by everyone. Ball movement, one more. In and out for Harris. Second chance opportunity for Boston. Kiki in some pain. That's Kiki Iriafen on the deck. She was called for the foul, asking for the Mystics training staff.
See, she's hobbling, laboring, get off, shot goes up, and it's like she just lands awkwardly. She's coming down with the leg of Boston being helped off now.
The contestant, something just didn't feel right.
It seems like she first gets bumped leg to leg, and then she comes down. She's walking, obviously, gingerly, being helped off here, and what an important part of this group she is.
Iriafen, an all-star a season ago. Having such a stellar start to the season as well. We'll keep an eye on that. Meantime, Boston had 2 at the free throw line.
And what Indiana did do a good job on that possession continue. It looked like Washington went to a zone look, shifting and finding some of those cleaner shots and getting some second chance looks.
Amor under the basket. And you mentioned the switch up to zone by the Mystics. That's something that the Liberty did that worked on Saturday.
And it becomes effective in a lot of different ways because in some cases it stagnates you a little bit. We know that Indiana will take a lot of three-point shots, but they haven't shot as efficiently as you would anticipate from some players, and it really takes away a lot of the paint and driving lanes that they're able to utilize like this.
Mitchell, driving kick has been the name of the game, in and out on that one. But you see the opportunities that they're getting when they get into the lane. Citron drills it. First basket of the evening.
So what a shift. And Stephanie White has talked about just missing some easier looks, some layups, some shots that they create that you would imagine will start to fall. But on the other side of things, it allows Washington some extra looks, extra possessions.
Well, can we just give a nod to Citron? Because you talked about the game coming to her, right? I mean, she leads this team in scoring, but she forces nothing and waited for a great opportunity, knocked it down.
She's just such a patient player. And she's one of those, when you talk about being poised and mature beyond your years, how even-keeled she is. That's how she always has played. And she's a 3-level scorer, so she'll read a defense. She doesn't get sped up, and she can get you from a lot of different places on the floor.
They go back to Citron, that time the step through. Shakira Austin jokes and says she acts like she's 40, but she's 22 years old. All right, Pohl, met by Dugalich, almost taken right away, gets it back. Shot clock resets. Harris on the kick out to Hall. It's good.
Alexi Hall has been shooting the lights out lately. You look over the course of her last 6 games, 8 of 17. And that is big time for her. She does all the little things. You know she's going to defend, but when she knocks down 3-point shots at that rate, it changes the complexion of how this team can play.
Austin asking for it. Dugalich keeps it, gets stuck under the basket. Prosper plays out of it. Fouled on the way up.
And where the Fever, do such a great job, and they have early, whether shots have gone in or not. It's getting those looks in the paint touches, the cutting. Excellent job by Harris, getting to the basket and getting it to the second side. Through the course of this whole game, I think their process and how they're creating looks has been really good. And for Hull to knock that one down, that's big. It's helped them to the lead, but overall, they're going to look to kick it anytime they have spray outs along the perimeter, and they've done a nice job of it here early on.
This is Kassan Prosper at the free throw line. The rookie out of Notre Dame. Started a few games at the beginning of the season. And there's Hull with the rebound. Saw that three that she knocked down. Hull hasn't missed a shot in a few games. Harris setting things up. The curl cut by Mitchell wants to go left. It works out.
A little bounce there for Mitchell, and again, to find ways and places on the floor to get her more shots is huge. She's such a threat.
Indiana now has its largest lead of the game at 10. Prosper has Mitchell on her. Stuck in the short corner, shot clock winding down. It'll stay right here, 1.9 left on the shot clock.
Once again, though, some nasty defense by Kelsey Mitchell. You love to see it. We can talk about her speed, getting to the basket, what she can do offensively. Defensively, she's a menace. And you can put her on different players, and she plays bigger than what her size is, but she's so quick, not just with her feet, but also her hands.
Amore inbounds to Austin, turns. Got it off in time, but that was off the mark. Mitchell. Poised again. Oh, the step back. Pretty. Kelsey Mitchell can go on a heater all her own.
Not allowing those second chance looks that Washington also often comes up with.
Let's see what the Mystics do out of the timeout. This is Florith, taken away by Harris. She takes it, keeps it, tees it up. Foul on the floor as the Fever were going for the rebound. This Fever team right now, 5-5, and there's so much conversation about, well, what's the state of the group and what's going on? History, if you look back, they were at the same place at 500 at this point last season. They made it all the way to the semifinals and the playoffs.
Well, and we talked to Kaylin this morning. She said sometimes we look like the best team in the league. Sometimes you wonder if we're going to make the playoffs. And in that, you said it earlier, just the consistency factor is something that's huge for teams that want to be very good.
Extra steps by Harris. Caitlin charging her team to maintain. When they get a strong start, she said starts are important, but we've got to maintain. She said there's usually some lulls in the game for us. We'll see how this one goes.
And a big part of that is just that defensive focus in how they're playing connected at this end of the floor.
Energy and effort is the starting defense
and it
usually.
fuels how they want to play offensively and playing fast.
Dugalich will go to the free throw line.
Dugalich is a player that has been fun to watch her progression for this Washington team, a rookie in this league. We talk a lot about those UCLA players, and that's her being alongside that, winning a title. And she had a slower start to the season. Really strong the more time she's gotten and the more comfortable she's gotten.
But Dugalich is one of those players that's pro-ready. You talk about her experience at UCLA, but also what she's able to do with the Serbian national team. Let's take a look at the upcoming WNBA national TV schedule. Later tonight, Las Vegas hosting Seattle. Vegas, one of the teams out west that's undefeated in Commissioner's Cup play. Lots of games on the slate. Get a pen and write them down. Halfway mark here in the second. Clark back on the floor. Thought there was contact. Gets the call that time. It'll be against Florida. Her second.
And Florida doing her best trying to stay with Clark off of this play, but Witcher just come body right into her there, take her off the line. There was a little bit of an extension, though, as well by Clark.
Cunningham regains possession. Has to make a decision. The kick back to Clark, trying to create space. Might have been tipped by Austin. Shot clock violation. The Mystics have had a couple of those in terms of forcing shot clock violations this evening. Now you got to capitalize.
Well, and you see here, I mean, this is a great job by Shakira Austin. Yeah, coming out and staying with her. That's a quality of Austin. You continue to see her grow in how she can guard multiple positions and guard out on the perimeter as she works her footwork and feet.
Austin, 6'5" frame up against Boston. Clark quickly the other way. Cunningham. Score remains the same. McMahon has Clark on it. Goes back to the Big 10 days.
Great job by McMahon. In the tough, she wants to go right. And so that screen's there for show. She rejects it, and she's got a clear lane.
Oh, the dime. How'd she get that through? Finished by Hines Allen. I mean, thread the needle.
What a pass. That's just throwing a teammate open.
One thing to see it, but then to execute it. We're going the other way. Foul is on Dugalich.
Let's start with that play by McMahon. Look, she's looking at the screen, her eyes divert it, and she just blows right to the rim, her favorite side to go through. Watch this by Clark. What a dime. Got defenders up, hands up, and she bounces it right through. Perfect in the pocket. Hines Allen doing a great job off of that screen.
And that foul was the third on Dugalich. The kick out, will Cunningham get going? And does. First bucket of the evening.
Cunningham, another player, hasn't shot the three at the level that you would probably expect for her through the course of this year.
McMahon has been able to get downhill. This time takes it from the outside. Last few possessions, the Fever have just sprayed it around, gotten everyone involved. This time, Clark keeps it. Turnover. Citron one-on-one. Just couldn't finish the layup. A bump is called. That'll be on Clark. Her third.
Far.
Yeah, I mean, before that Citron free throw was 17-7 here in this second quarter, and that's fueled the lead that the Fever have for much of it. I mean, Caitlin started the second quarter on the bench because she had 2 fouls in the first quarter. And it's frustrating, too, when you've got the numbers of 4 for 8, 50% from the field.
You feel like you're finally
Yeah.
gotten in a rhythm early, but it's a part of it. It's the ebbs and flows of the game. For Washington, the area that they want to get out of the inconsistency and issues is with the turnovers, and that has hampered them through the course of the season, especially in this one. Already 9 turnovers, 9 points off those turnovers, and it's led to runouts for Indiana, which is the last thing that you want to do.
Boston, offensive foul is the call. And we've documented fouls back and forth. Washington, 12 personal fouls. That'll be 11 for the Fever.
You're looking at some premier post players that love to play physical. And you see it right there, just a little bit of a hook trying to get position, but these individuals have been battling here this whole game.
Dugalich gets it to go.
Cody McMahon has been really impressive with how she has run the offense and found her passing.
Aliyah Boston signaling to her team to settle down after that foul on the screen by Maisha Hines Allen. Citron trying to steer the ship, taken right away by Hines Allen. Back to the Fever. Another foul call.
You said it, some excellent defense by Maisha Hines Allen, just being a really aggressive, pokes the ball away, and everyone trying to go for that loose ball, and Onyenwere gets called for the foul off that possession. Once again, though, a turnover being an issue for DC. And you could already see, though, the Fever, I mean, part of what they have done defensively through the course of the year, his creative points off turnovers against opponents, but there's an even added level of aggressiveness, especially on the basketball, knowing that's a vulnerability here for this Washington team.
9 points off turnovers for the Fever so far. Hines Allen in a place she's familiar with. 2019 champion with the Mystics, played 6 years here in DC. Her first with the Fever. So if you're DC, what kind of momentum do you want to try to get going into the half? You've got 2 minutes to do some work.
Get it to single digits. Like, that's all you need to do. There's been highs and lows. I'm sure they feel like there's ways they can play better.
Chippy missed there by Austin. Hines Allen keeps it. Oh, big body move.
That is a strong play. And you can tell, you mentioned Hines Allen, maybe a little motivation back here playing her former team. But overall for Washington, I do. I think if they just work on taking care of the basketball, it's a possession game.
They're getting to the rim where they want to go.
Yeah, you're not going to make every shot. Everything is not going to be perfect, but
also on this end, Mitchell bobbles it, one-on-one, scores.
And that's where Indiana has been better. The second quarter is finishing at the rim and finishing through contact.
And the Mystics have struggled to do so on the other end. Trying to get something to go. I mean, bully ball in your old gym?
Coming right at you. A little bit of a drive through the body there on McMahon, and then this time it's Kelsey Mitchell. You know how quick she is, turns the corner. She's got Amore on her hip. And they've been on the attack. They understand that getting to the basket is something that's going to loosen up the defense, but it's the way that they finished at the rim that's been the difference maker.
The Fever have kept its foot on the gas this entire second quarter. Mitchell got the defense on skates.
Oh. You see those gears, though?
Difference in game clock, shot clock. Mystics will take their time to reverse under the rim, Dugalich.
I gotta say, Cody McMahon's passing has been excellent tonight. Her finds, especially a look like that when all eyes were on the strong block with Austin.
Where does Mitchell want to go? The outside. No go for the last shot of the half.
Able to do that in huge part because of how they've played on the defensive side of the ball, because you know that they have the weapons to be able to score.
10 points off turnovers for the Fever. You're talking about what they're doing on the defensive end, but then getting out and running on the other end. And for the Mystics, we weren't in that huddle, but something tells me Sydney Johnson talked about the controllables. Yes, this is the youngest team in the WNBA. There's 8 rookies and a number of sophomores on this team, but you can control effort on the defensive end trying to take care of the basketball. Caitlin Clark off the mark on her first shot here in the third. She had 10 points in that first half, but is playing with 3 fouls. Dugalich gets the start in the second half. Remember, Kiki Iriafen left the floor in the first quarter. Austin asking for it. Shot clock winding down. Onyenwere. And Dugalich fighting for it. The foul goes against Dugalich there. She was going for the loose ball. Her fourth.
One, that's key to pick up a fourth, especially playing without Iriafen to this point. But that's an example of exactly what we talked about. The Fever did a great job in their consistency through the course of the entire possession of communicating, staying in front, forcing a contested, tough, deep shot for Washington, and then coming up with possession.
Clark weaving through, gets it right back. Trying to create some space, and the bump on the floor. And that is Dugalich again, her 5th personal, so in comes Lauren Betts.
This is tough. This is tough because Clark can change direction on a dime, and you see Just the reaching on the body there is too much as she's changing direction.
Clark finds a way to get open. Billings right to the deck with purpose. Monique Billings, her first year with this Indiana Fever team, has played for 4 different teams in 3 years, and Stephanie White has talked about her ability to understand her role.
And I think she's going to get those looks. She's coming off a game in New York that she had 15 points. She was 6 of 7 from the field. She has her opportunities. Now it's just about finishing.
Austin keeps the play alive, kicks it out to Citron. And Shakira Austin feeling something. Thank you so much for the update, Ashley. Kiki went to the locker room in the first quarter. Like Ashley said, we will not see her for the rest of the evening. It's significant because this is a Mystics team that likes to pound it in the paint, and now you're down one of your bigs,
She's
your
a
second
critical
leading scorer.
piece. Yeah, I mean, an all-star last year, and first of all, you don't know the severity of it, but you feel for her because you know how much she loves the game and wants to be out there and how much she makes an impact on the floor and off of it for this group.
Meantime, the Fever just continue to smother Sonia Citron. She's only taken 3 shots this evening. That was a foul on Kelsey Mitchell.
Well, and that's, of course, the big part of the game plan because so much runs through her and how much attention she attracts.
Prosper tees it up. Lauren Betts. Hey, we've seen a rebound like that a time or two back in college. Amore. Good to see her get going.
Those are the difference makers, though. Get an offensive rebound. Get another shot. Especially those kickouts, Zora. You know it better than anyone. You're a three-point shooter. It's like warm-ups.
Talk about shooting. Quick pitch ahead from Betts to Amore. Trying to secure back-to-back positive possessions. Amore to Prosper. And just as you start to get momentum, you can't string it together. Clark just too open, and one.
Foul was the illegal leg-to-leg contact and not foot-on-foot.
Got it.
So it remained a common foul.
And that was Clark's first free throw of the evening, believe it or not. Averages about 5. Betts to Onyenwere. Trapped there, close to the sideline, gets out of it. Lauren Betts calls for it. Up against one of her idols, Boston. Hauled down by Prosper. Contact on the second chance opportunity.
And those are the extra opportunities that are important for Washington because the course of that defensive possession was actually very solid for the Fever. They've done a nice job. They've blitzed some and trapped some of these ball screens, whether it's the top of the key or the side ones on the wing, and they've recovered from them nicely, even the dig down into the post. But you got to be able to finish off those possessions when you force a miss.
The Chippies down low in the paint. And both teams.
Yeah, and it all adds up. And that's probably why both of these coaches, and talking with all of us, talked about the inconsistency. And the beauty of that, though, is that there is optimism of, okay, if we start to clean these areas up or be more efficient and effective, we'll be able to take those steps forward.
Well, it's plays like that, staying with it, getting the rebound off the missed free throw, but how do you capitalize? Realizing the deficit that you're in. Amore, she's got 2. After going 1 for 11 in the previous game, Georgia Amore looking good from the outside.
And it's going to take her some time this season. She missed all of last year recovering from a knee injury. It's a great take by Cunningham, recognizing the mismatch in size.
Amore looked at it. Betts. Poise. Pivot foot.
That was nailed to the ground. Continued to work, and he's got that size advantage.
Now you feel some energy. Onyenwere slow to get up. That'll be 4 fouls on Aliyah Boston. Meantime, this last sequence.
Well, just look at this. Is just working. And so much of this comes down, no one picks up the shooter, and eventually off this possession, Georgia Amore gets a clean look from 3. She's been catching her rhythm from deep. Aliyah Boston now picking up her 4th foul. So think about going back to a couple of these offensive rebounds for the Fever that have resulted in, for the Mystics, that have resulted in baskets. There was an opportunity for Indiana to stretch this to 20. And instead, it's the Mystics doing some of those little things to cut the deficit.
Betts down to Citron. Talk about those opportunities in the restricted area. Mitchell, hard to stop her. Clark goes left, skip pass. Great to see Shakira Austin back in the game. Amore already has a couple from the outside. Onyenwere.
Enjoy each other, but they can also talk to each other honestly, and those are the things that you hold one another accountable to become better and better as a group.
Well, and they hang out together a lot, off the court as well. Ashley, you can add.
Yeah, guys, I talked to Kiki at Shooter, and I said, why are you guys so connected? She laughed and said, because we hang out all the time. We're too close. We go get our nails done. We go out to eat. We go get ice cream, and that connectivity is definitely translating to on the court.
Yeah, and if you want coffee or matcha recommendations, you can go to the Mystics too.
Ashley got all the spots. You got a list for us now.
Blank Street for matcha.
Coffee and confidence. Lauren Betts, you can just feel that she wants the basketball right now and feels comfortable down low.
Well, because she understands where to be on the floor to make herself available for teammates that she's comfortable in.
Crowd getting back into it here in Washington, D.C. Clark has Betts on her. The anticipation by Onyenwere. Talk about effort. Pitch pass up ahead. Mystics on a run.
What a job, end to end. And you want to talk about Lauren Betts in that possession, guarding inside, outside, off the switches, then rim running for that perfect pass.
Mitchell all the way. Citron looks ahead, up against Cunningham. Saves! How do you guard that?
For as much as we've talked about Indiana wanting to play faster, I think in many cases it also benefits Washington when they've had those opportunities on the break.
Well, it prevents the defense from getting set, right? Mitchell, stop and pop, back and forth we go. Amore saw something. Betts wants it, tipped away. The Fever, they like these possessions. Mitchell in control. Kick out, Cunningham, yes.
It is a big-time three-point shot in playmaking as a whole. Starting with Kelsey Mitchell attacking, getting in the paint, drawing the double team. Fever cut so well off the basketball to then create those extra passes.
Well, and that's why the Fever want to run, right? Because they feel like they get you in a run game, and they're like, oh, well, that's our bread and butter.
Because they're read and react. They're going to free flow. They understand how to see where the defense is playing.
10-point game. Clark hit on the toss. The 4th on Onyenwere.
Well, the Washington Mystics getting after it here on this defensive possession. Look at Onyenwere on the floor, gets it up, and then over the top. Citron finding Betts on the run. That is a smooth-looking break, but there was some excellent ball movement on the other end for Indiana. Sophie Cunningham capping off some great passing with that three-point look. She's trying to get her three-point shot a little bit more efficient through the course of this season, and doing so here tonight. 2 of 4 from beyond the arc.
The Mystics had cut it to single digits. Fever got it back to 10. Trying to extend it on this possession. Mitchell all alone on the backside. And Aliyah Boston just relentless. McMahon secures it. Here she comes. It's what she does.
She's staring down Lexi Hall and just knows she can go straight at her. And her teammates did a really good job of spacing the floor to open up that clear lane.
Onyenwere has had this matchup much of the evening. McMahon putting on the Jets. Amor, hand down, means I put it up. 5-point game. Stay with us, folks. 90 seconds left in the third. Boston tried to get it to Cunningham. Possession Mystics.
What a resilient quarter here for Washington. Cody McMahon, another example of her on the push. She has been straight line, hard drive into the basket, does so there with some early offense, and then Georgia Amor is starting to heat up, knocked out a couple three-point shots here for Washington, helped them cut into the deficit.
Amor, 3 for 3 from the outside. But one more pass. Whistle before the shot.
This Washington, they were down by as many as 17, and it looked like Fever had an opportunity to really open up the gap and run away with things. And it was the Mystics doing some of the dirty work, coming up with a couple of offensive rebounds that led to three-point shots, extra baskets, extra possessions. They overall, this quarter, have done a better job to taking care of the basketball.
Well, and they've seen the deficit just get smaller and smaller. Onyenwere goes up strong, hit on the previously created. And the Fever will have another challenge in the fourth quarter, if they so choose.
Which, yeah, that becomes very beneficial.
So how will the Fever capitalize? No go at the rim, and a no call. You can see Clark's response.
And look at, with so much room, Clark snakes through. You see they're ahead of Boston on that possession and trying to get past Iriathan. Or excuse me, Austin.
Clark on the inbound, right to Boston, bobbles it. Boston was hit. Onyenwere now has 5 personals, and that's significant because she's been one of the main defenders on Caitlin Clark.
I mean, she has hit a couple three-point shots and has been impactful offensively, but defensively is where she has just been all over the place. And you mentioned it, her ability to be able to match up against Caitlin Clark, she can switch on to anyone. Just been a huge aspect of gaining extra possessions for this Mystics team.
These will be the 6th and 7 free throws of the evening for your Aliyah Boston. 8 points and 8 rebounds as we close in on this third quarter.
Come off a game. She almost had a double-double, was 1 rebound shy with 13 and 9.
Boston does not have the 2 free throws. And we've got a jump ball at the center circle with 41.3 left here in this third quarter. 5-point game. 1 point, this was a 17-point lead by the Fever. We've got Austin and Boston. Goes right to Caitlin Clark. Citron on her, not Onyenwere. But Boston lowered the shoulder. That'll be against Aliyah Boston. Perfect, Sarah.
Yeah, and this is tough. What you see out of Austin, though, doing a great job on that, she's got her squared up, 2 feet down, outside the circle, body's framed, and it's that wind up with the shoulder, kind of pull back and going so hard into her that you're picking up a foul off that possession.
A chance to make this a 1-possession game. Florence stays with it, skip pass to McMahon. Still time for the Fever. Cunningham feels like no one stopped her. 1.2 to go. Stays with the Fever. You can get a dribble if you want, a quick one.
Yep.
So Caitlin inbounding to Boston. And the score remains where it's at.
I think they call a foul on that play.
The referees are going to go look at that one. And who left the game in the first quarter out with an ankle sprain. But Amore has really come alive. 3 threes in that third quarter. Now they go down low, back to the basket. Austin draws the foul.
Gets to the free throw line. In Washington, towards the end of that third quarter, and now here starting the fourth, playing a little bit more to a lot of their strengths we see. Getting to the free throw line is a huge aspect of how they play. Second chance, points and opportunities, and points off turnovers, all of those things. But Ashley, Shakira Austin has just been such a huge part of it, not just with her production on the floor, but mentality that she always seems to bring.
That's right, Sarah. And she's actually from this area, has a ton of family and friends still here. And her actual first real memories of playing basketball were at the local YMCA in this area with her dad. She would play on the men's team. Said it gave her so much confidence just going out there, not caring about mistakes. Such a core memory she has of training and just playing this game. And all those guys knew that her end goal was the WNBA, so none of them went easy on her.
That toughness shows in every game that she plays in. Austin from Fredericksburg, meantime. Billings, no go. Betts couldn't secure it. That was Ty Harris in there.
And Austin is such a just huge component to the leadership of this group. I mean, the fact she's only in her 5th year, but she is one of the veterans. She brings in pro habits and just a huge piece of how this team has grown.
Mitchell got where she wanted to go, couldn't
She's
finish.
had a couple of those here tonight. Does all the hard work.
Onyenwere looked right at the rim, got to it. Mystics keep chugging along. Hole, timely. She's been so efficient in her last few games.
I said it earlier, she's been excellent this season, and it is so important for how the offense wants to run.
They go back to Austin.
This isn't a Washington team that shoots a lot of threes, nor are they particularly efficient this season from 3. They're shooting over 46%, 6 of 13, and Indiana has been solid, but that's normally an area where the Fever tend to have an edge.
Right now, GC shooting better from the outside than Indiana. Harris will bring it up. 6-point game. Clark back in. Hole has been hot. They work it around. Tipped away by Amore. Solid defensive possession from the Mystics. Betts wants it. Austin directing traffic. Onyenwere gets caught there. Picked up by Hines Allen. Harris. Foul. As both Dantas and Betts were going for the rebound. That one will go against Betts. Caitlin getting it right back. Turns the corner. Home run.
It's a filthy in and out. I mean, she can do so much off of those screens, but it's the craftiness of her handles that just tend to amaze you.
Citron. Met. Puts it up. Onyenwere tried to keep the possession alive. If that is Onyenwere, that will be 6 on her.
Let's go back to that. Look at that little in and out. Smooth line to the basket. all off the tightness of this moves. That's nasty play there by Caitlin Clark into the basket, but on the flip side of things, here you see Onyenwere, a little bit of a push there on the back of Harris, trying to go for the offensive rebound. Again, it's going to be really important for the Fever to take care of the glass.
So Onyenwere has now fouled out of the game. And that last foul was on Dantas.
Look right here, Dantas. A little bit of movement there with the left part of her body, the hip, the leg. Feet set up outside shoulder width.
Horns action. Dugalich gets it. And you see these rookies, I'm talking about Dugalich and Betts. They've had one-on-one opportunities in the paint, taking advantage. And a turnover by the Fever. The Mystics trying to close in.
And defensively, it's going to have to be where they start. They've been more locked in, connected. We have already talked about how important Onyenwere was on that end of the floor, so with her being out of the game, it needs to be even more locked in.
They go back to that elbow action. This time, McMahon, another whistle.
And the Fever have got to do a better job of recognizing Cody McMahon wants to go right. She, one, wants to drive, and two, she wants to drive right. And there have been too many clear lanes and opportunities for her. And I know Caitlin Clark has those, 4 fouls she's still sitting at, 3 fouls, but just being more physical and trying to take away that right lane from a McMahon opportunity.
Let's take a look at the upcoming WNBA national TV schedule. The reigning champs hosting the Storm. Atlanta at Chicago tomorrow. Full slate of WNBA action. Still a ways to go in this one. Clark looked at it. Stop, score, stop. Four-point game. Sonia in the post. Clark, the pitch ahead to Hall. The shooter takes it to the deck.
Transition, started with the stop, you got the run out. For Indiana, can they continue to play at that flow?
Time and time again, we see the Mystics get into it set. Amor, 4 threes! Staying in it.
You saw it all through her collegiate career, coming off a screen. She can stop and pop. You cannot give her that much room.
We were talking to people around the team today, and I was asking about the numbers. That's Harris. And for Amor, they said it's only a matter of time. Remember, she's a rookie.
Yeah.
Missed all of last season with an ACL injury. And when you start to feel it, it's contagious. 2-point game. They keep coming.
Help to organize an offense, set teammates up for shots. There's a composure that Washington has played with cutting back into this deficit.
Now you look for the response. The Fever on the road, trying to hold on. Hull has been fantastic. Got it off in time.
This Washington team has often said she's like an extension of the coaching staff on the team. Her understanding of how to organize everyone, especially on the offensive side, and she has been critical here tonight.
Amor set to check back in. All 12 of her points are from the outside. The Mystics find themselves only down by 2. Couldn't tie it up or take the lead on that possession. Mitchell bumped. Just the first on Citron.
But a handful of things you look is Indiana tries to close this one out. They're familiar with close games with Washington. A player, though, like Aliyah Boston, just 3 shots on the night. And obviously, there's a huge post presence by Washington and the players, the personnel, and how they play. but finding ways to keep getting her more involved here down the stretch, I think, will be important.
Clark trying to get free, pitches it back to Boston. Puts up another attempt. McMahon, she likes the open floor.
But that time they forced her to the left. And it's not to say she still can't hurt you, but that you got to do that when she's on momentum.
Too deep in for Boston. The chippy's hard to come by. Still a 2-point game, 69-67. Amore, been hot. Got caught. Austin has to make something happen up against Boston.
A really tough contested shot.
Great run by Billing. Citron met her at the rim.
It's a huge get back and block by Sonia Citron. But for the Fever, it was 1 and out, quick kick out, advancement to get it ahead. And for Citron, that's just a huge defensive play here to save a bucket that it looked like Indiana was going to get with some early offense.
Play like that allows you to reset your defense. Mitchell has Austin on her. Boston wanted it, got it.
Really patient. Again, I love that the Fever continue to feed Boston on the inside. Go to her, be physical, find herself either a bucket or more often than not on the line.
Boston close to a double-double. She's got 10 and 8. The thread down to Austin, the kick out. No good from Dugalich.
That's a great look, though. A wide open on the weak side.
Running the floor, pays off. Big plays by Aliyah Boston when the Fever needed it most. With our NBC Sports crew. 6-point game, just under 3 to go. Some big buckets and timely plays by Aliyah Boston has this score back to 6. Another foul against the Fever. 3 on Kelsey Mitchell.
And still a lot of time left, but this is going to be an important couple possessions for Washington.
Blocked by Boston. Back the other way.
As a wall. What a job and what a great read. Because that's a well-run and executed sideline out of bounds play to find Citron under the basket. Boston had read it the whole time waiting.
And I think Citron thought she had a good look. She didn't realize Boston was there. Clark going to her step back, but a whistle before the shot. Now that's on McMahon. Clark looks to turn the corner. Has McMahon on her. Overthrew the pass. Mystics basketball.
And that's a tough possession for Indiana. Just a miscommunication, it seemed, of between Clark and Boston and where Boston was rolling to. But the last thing you want is to come up empty without even getting a look.
Amore. Remember, she's got 4 threes. Citron just can't get any space tonight. Onyenwere, they needed it! 3-point game.
She has been huge from 3 tonight. Now 3 of 4 from beyond the arc, and maybe not more critical than that one.
Under 2. Down to the wire again. And an offensive foul.
And what the Fever have done, they've blitzed and trapped a lot of those ball screens, and because of it, Washington has found ways to make the extra pass, get it all the way to the second side, Onyenwere with room. And you can't give her space from 3, especially not tonight. She has been knocking them down. This whole Washington team has 50% from beyond the arc.
That last call was a foul on Kelsey Mitchell. Amore has Clark on her. Goes to the dance. It's a salsa. Austin tried for the putback. They battle. Who gets it? The dive. Loose ball. Fever basketball. Let's wait for the, because it would have been a shot clock violation.
So
but
the shot clock reset correctly, did hit the rim, common foul. Here we are.
3-point game, down to 2. Big opportunity for Onyenwere. Cuts it to 1, 73-72. 90 seconds to go. Both these teams have been here before. To Clark. Good find, no finish.
And once again, great help by Onyenwere in staying vertical.
They're trying to get it to Citron, their playmaker. And just smothered by Mitchell. Amor off the foot of the Fever. Plenty of time, 1:01 to go. Sydney Johnson says, let's talk about it. Timeout is called.
And really, is there an opportunity to work on these time and score situations in the clutch.
The Mystics had time to draw something up. Inbound goes to Amor. Austin looking. Citron off the handoff, right back to Austin. Danced with it. Lead, Washington.
What a play call by Sydney Johnson out of that timeout. Run to perfection.
Now a timeout by Stephanie White. I mean, how big was that? You talk about the youth of this team, but a minute to go. We got Clark, Mitchell, Boston, Hull, and Cunningham on the floor for the Fever. Comfortable in these situations. Clark lives for these moments. Has Amor on her. Bumped as she goes up. An opportunity to take the lead right back at the free throw line.
And I like that you have guard-to-guard screening action with Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark to see how Washington's going to play it. With Amor staying on Clark, she can use her size, her physicality. She's picking up the foul there.
A 93% free throw shooter. Rare miss for 22. No-go on both. Mystics remain up by 1, less than 30 in regulation. Citron is patient, looking for the play call. Goes off the screen. Back to Austin. She had that timely bucket turnover. Clark in transition. Kelsey Mitchell, lead Fever. 11.3 to go. It goes back to the game for the Fever. SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Amor has it. She's been hot. Austin's been timely. Citron off the curl. That's a foul on Lexi Hull.
Some great movement and actions here once again by Washington. It is, body's not straight up and coming into the body of Citron.
Her third and fourth free throws this evening. First one. It's been tough all night for Citron. A chance to take the lead with 4.3 to go. Up 1. Draw it up.
To try and space things out. You look at this set once again. Imagine Kelsey Mitchell here is going to get a stagger off of Boston and Hull.
Mitchell comes off the screens, but so does Clark. Up and in! Timely, timely, timely. Did you know it?
What a banger.
Puts the Fever up by 2.
Here's your options. Diversion, stagger screen for Kelsey Mitchell coming off and wide open on the weak side. McMahon almost looked like she was going to get a pick, and ice cold clutch.
Still
Caitlin Clark.
1.2 to go. You go for the win or the tie. Onyenwere on the backside. Put it up. Big win on the road by the Fever.